Planning purchases is the final step in building the 6-month merchandising plan. Once all financial variables have been determined, such as sales, markdown, and inventory, we can calculate our planned purchases. So planned purchases represent the value of merchandise that will be purchased during a given period. Planning purchase receipts are the amount of inventory needed each month to maintain BOM stock levels. So here we have all the components of the 6-month plan. We have our sales and our markdowns planned by month, but now we need to look at our purchases by month. So these are the 3 formulas that you are going to be using in order to solve for retail purchases, cost purchasing, and open to buy. So let's start with calculating retail purchases. We are going to use this formula, planned sales plus markdowns plus planned EOM minus BOM. And that tells us we have 1,906.6. For cost purchases, we also look at our purchases, retail versus cost, for a couple of reasons. One, we look at purchases because we are always managing to a markup percent plan number. So this helps us calculate our markup. Are we on track? And also, the vendor is always evaluating their business based on cost. So the next one, we're going to use the formula. Just a second. And so I'm going to start with an equal sign, and then I'm going to take my retail purchases times, open parentheses, 1 minus, use my markup plan of 54.7, and that will now calculate my cost purchases. Now remember, I'm going to want to drag this across in order to copy this formula, but I need to make sure that I stabilized C29. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to highlight C29, and you guys remember that shortcut I showed you a while ago. You press FN if you have a Mac, and then press F4 at the top of your keyboard, and it will place the $ in front of the column and the number. If you have a Mac, you can just press F4, or you can just put a $ manually. So now I'm calculating my purchases and calculate my cost purchases, but now I want to calculate my open to buy. So we may have $1,009,000 to spend, but we are very rarely willing to spend all the money in one setting. Some of it will go to one vendor, some of it may go to our foreign purchases. So you need to keep track of the money that you've spent. This is called an on order. The difference between retail purchases in your on order is what we call open to buy. So here we're going to apply that formula, retail purchases minus cost purchases, and that will give us our open to buy. So in this particular case, it tells us we have $1 million for, okay, so it was purchases minus on order is our open to buy. So here's what we're going to do. Now that we have created these formulas, we're going to drag them across and complete the rest of the table. And what you'll notice here is because there is an on order in October through January, your open to buy is equal to your retail purchases. So I have now worked through this demo, and you will go through the next 2 practice problems. I have included step by step and also a description on how I calculated all this. So now you will go through and complete the problem 1 and number 2, and then you will also be asked to answer certain questions on this week's quiz that relate to purchases.